I'm Dombourian. I'm faculty member at Moore Park College in the English department. The class you're about to view is 1B Critical Thinking and Writing with a focus on literature. We have prepared a project that involves student-led discussions based on this book. It's by Khaled Hosseini, Thousand Splendid Suns. It's a great intersection between religion and politics, and then class and gender and sexuality. The class you're about to witness is a student-led discussion where students have prepared questions to lead discussion. I am simply moderator, in many ways I'm a student. And the way students prepared for this, they read the book, annotated the book, responded to prompts that I provided them with for writing assignment, but then generated their own prompts. In order to prepare them, they needed to have a primary question, sub-questions, and also needed to brainstorm possible responses so that they could parry and commune with their peers. So we hope you enjoy it.
Throughout the story, you can see several times how one of the largest influences the characters experience is each other. Each person really plays into the life, and they eventually all come together and really impact each other. In section 2, Layla's life is basically the one that's really profiled, and those around her are also really shown. How do you think the two positive male figures that were shown, Tariq and Hakeem, differ from each other, and how are they similar in the way that they influence Layla's life and show her affection?
But I think they differ in their, I said their Western thinking is one thing similar, but Tariq seems a little more conservative than Hakeem. Hakeem seems like he is all for change and willing to accept any kind of democratic system, any kind of, communist system, because he supported the communist system. But Tariq, I feel like, is more of a man of country. He'll go serve in the war, and he will follow the times of the country until ultimately he abandons it. So,
how do you feel that they really play into what decisions that Layla has available to her life? Scott?
If you wanted to classify it into archetypal roles, you could make the arguments for Hakeem as kind of like the wise man figure or the scholarly person, because he's there to kind of offer more advice to Lila because Mammy isn't obviously giving any sort of advice whatsoever, right, because she's too busy mourning the Suns. But Hakeem is there to not only challenge her intellectually, but also to kind of be a confidant whenever the other character, Tariq, isn't around.
Do you think that Mammy and Babby differ in terms of their affection, or do you think that Mammy just kind of is a dead duck in Layla's life?
Kind of a dead duck.
They do differ because she's a dead duck.
Yeah. Well, but there's also times where you definitely see, Mammy, what's her name? Forget it right now. Fariba. You see Fariba really making an effort, teaching her things around the house. Not very much, but there is an effort where she does show that she wants to love her child.
Ignorance towards her daughter. So, she doesn't know how to show affection to her daughter because she's so overwhelmed by her loss of her sons and what that means for her, in society, which is completely, a more self-absorbed mom than a more affectionate and loving mom, for at least her daughter.
So, do you think that the entire time she just didn't care about Layla ever? Or do you think that, there was some level of affection there at all? Do you think there was anything or no?
Well, I think that, the fact that she may say something, doesn't, speak for itself as much as her actions do. And her actions were basically to stay in bed for most of the time until, until that part where she thought that she's gonna, come back.
So it definitely, that small little time frame when she's up and about, when they are in control, she does have some kind of intentions of making Layla happy.
So I think she becomes more independent because of what Fariba does, but at the same time, Hakeem is really looking for a future. He's trying to carry her on to the next level while she's just trying to get by without the help of her mom.
And I think it's because of that Hakeem had a dream or something that he can't follow just because of Fariba. That it mentions somewhere that he wants to go to another city.
California.
Yeah. But he can't only because of Fariba, so it definitely affects her.
So she almost brings him down, but she also, being the way she is, makes him a better father.
Yeah, definitely.
He can take care of himself.
I would agree.
I feel like her father invested so much time into her life that if she just left now and left her parents behind, that it wouldn't be right for her. I feel like his father wants to see his daughter successful, and she wants to prove to her father and herself that she can do it. Maybe.
How does the way that Layla's mom treats Layla compare to the way that Miriam's mom treats her?
That's a very good question.
And are they that different, or are they similar?
It's kind of indifference versus, I don't want to call it neglect with the way that Nana and Miriam's relationship was, but when you look at the relationship for Mammy and Lila, the mother is still present. It's not like she's abandoning her, but it's just Mammy could just care less.
I mean, so what makes which one better? To have a mother who's there every day, cooking for you, cleaning for you, but berating you, or having a mother that's asleep in bed and ignoring you?
My question is, do you think that she's strengthening the relationships because that's just how relationships grow and it's happening naturally, or do you think she's using those relationships to escape from the hurt that Farida has placed on it?
I think it's devastating. She could end up in her mother's role where she's completely depressed and not being able to do nothing, and then get beaten, you know? So I think she has to do it. I don't think she has a choice. I think it's her form of adapting. And I don't think it's bold. I don't think it's one way. I think it's just what she has to do.
She's averse to Miriam at first because she's so scathing in her attitude towards her, where it culminates in the fight about the stirring spoon, where she's finally had enough of it, and they get into the big argument and almost come to blows, where she views this lady as an enemy that is not out for her well-being, that there's no relationship possible at all with this woman. But eventually they come to terms as a means of survival. So it goes from, for the strength of the relationship, it goes from adversary to compatriot because they eventually start to come together and realize the same goals. So it grows out of necessity.
Like whenever someone dies or somebody leaves or goes away, then like everyone around them, they're like affected by it. Like because of that culture, like how are any of them really able to survive on their own?
They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. They can't just get up and leave and just find another man and say, hey, like we're gonna move in because this guy is a jerk.
So do the characters like have to rely on each other, or do they have to like find a way to fend for themselves?
Miriam and Layla relying on each other there, or relying on Rashid?
Both?
Yeah.
All three? Because Rashid doesn't need the women, obviously. He would like to have them there, He wants to have kids, he wants to have that son, that's really important to him. He doesn't need them as much as the women need him.
And I think everybody, maybe not in the money sense, but everybody's depending on somebody in the story.
Yeah.
Like since his wife is like basically a failure of a wife and a mother, he needs Layla in his life to keep him going as like a distraction from that.
It's a family.
I don't know. It seems like in the story, if anybody is left alone, they end up dying. Like when Miriam leaves, Nana dies. When Layla and Tariq leave Miriam, she ends up being killed. Eventually, when Mammy is left by Layla, when she marries Rashid, like it's not so extreme, but she eventually dies as well. So I don't know if that's because of circumstance or situation, but ironically, I just noticed when you brought up that part of the story, it kind of seems to happen.
They're so codependent on each other.
Well, that's also a key factor.